bold journalism,
But Drew Hernandez is a strong-minded individual.
exposing lawlessness,
Hernandez, who is ideological,
finding the truth,
and use the word Antifa.
This is what they do.
battling
They're
mainstream
liars. The woke mob, all they can do is lie.
These are the front lines.
What's going on, thought criminals? Welcome to Frontlines. I'm your host, Drew Hernandez. We are back with another wild night of news going on. Worldwide, the New World Order making their advances, and the deep state clearly going after President Trump with 2024 on the horizon. Here we are in 2023. They've mobilized the FBI. They've mobilized absolutely everything that they possibly can up until this very moment. They're still trying to take down the man because why? They fear everything he is capable of doing. And also, clown world and everything going on in this woke utopia, in this mindset of just total mind just total mental illness and a loss of just the ability to seriously comprehend reality, right? I mean, we're seeing this with our children. We're seeing this with so-called education. It's all distorted. It's absolutely depraved and disgusting with what we're seeing with how they're trying to target children. It's not even like indoctrination anymore. It's just literal perversion is what these people are doing, going after children, whether it be K through 12. And obviously what's going on in the universities is nothing new, but it only gets worse and worse and worse. My name is Drew Hernandez. You are now on the front lines. All right, exclusive breaking news. Trump will not be arraigned this week. Former president is expected to be indicted tomorrow, and Secret Service will make plans for his surrender and appearance in New York court next week. This was supposed to take place today, but it looks like it's been pushed. Here are the details. Donald Trump will likely be indicted on Wednesday, but won't appear before a judge in New York until next week. DailyMail.com has learned. Here's a quote: "There will be no arraignment this week," a source familiar with the proceedings told DailyMail.com. Exclusively on Tuesday, Trump, who is currently in Florida, is expected to be formally charged tomorrow, after which the Manhattan District Attorney's Office will reach out to Trump and his Secret Service detail to make arrangements for his surrender. According to The Insider, he will then fly to New York, where he will be arraigned, fingerprinted, and pose for his mugshot. Our Frontlines reporter with Drew Hernandez, Rebecca Brannon, is on the scene in New York, and I think she caught some footage of the guy that's going to rein Trump in, or the individual that's going to rein him in. Take a look. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there it is. Of course, it's these losers that think they're actually fighting Adolf Hitler, right? Like these people that live outside of reality that think that everything is just fascist and racist and white supremacist, and there they are, sitting on a bench, clearly free, not being attacked, not dealing with fascism. Oh, of course, yes. An individual just sitting there totally free, not being attacked. Oh, but yes, everything is racist and fascist, and the SS are all over the place wearing mega hats. They're trying to attack us, and they're threatening our freedoms. And there you are, sitting on a bench with your American freedoms out there, speaking out against the... Guys, for real, look at the sign. Look at the sign. What does it say? Failure, loser, with President Trump behind the words. Do you not understand? And I know the thought criminals that are watching this understand this. If we really were living in a fascist totalitarian regime, that thing would not be able to be sitting there on a park bench in public, openly calling out the so-called fascist dictator of the regime. You want to know why? Because that person would probably get abducted like that and murdered or executed in the middle of the night with no one ever knowing, because that's how real dictatorships really work. But these people are they've lost their minds. They actually believe that's what we're actually living in, which is ridiculous. Speaking of mental illness and people losing their minds, in New York, trans-identified, whatever, trans means, biological male, wins women's cycling event in New York, towers over second, third place competitors on the podium. Here we are yet again with another win for women, guys. Another win for women. Another dude dominating women's sports. You want to know why? Because that's awesome. A biological male has won a women's cycling division in New York City at the Randall's Island Crit number 3 over the weekend. Transgender athlete Tiffany Thomas, another Thomas, there we are again, was seen at the top of the podium while 2 women followed in 2nd and 3rd place, because that's totally a huge W for females. Gosh, these people are a joke, man. A crit race is a lapped closed-circuit race that usually takes place in cities, according to bicycling.com. I mean, you see, this just continual. It never ends and it never stops. You know, women are getting destroyed out here, man. I mean, you really sit here and you think about it. Women's spaces, women's sports. I mean, the sports is just the beginning, because this goes everywhere else. It'll go in the workplace. It'll go in education. It'll just infiltrate everywhere, where it's like this covert patriarchy, where it's like mentally ill dudes that are infiltrating women's spaces and just totally dominating them by just claiming to be women. And the women that are actually biological women cannot say a thing, because if they do, like, the mental illness is basically saying, well, you hate women. It's like, but I am a woman. I love women because I am a woman, and I don't want a biological male dominating my space, so I'm speaking out against it. No, you can't do that, because technically the mentally ill man that thinks he's a woman is actually a real woman in 2023. So sorry, biological female, just shut up. That's what I'm saying. It's the covert patriarchy that's just like decimating everything for women. And I think it's sad. It's just, man, dude. I mean, here's a perfect example of this. Vice President Kamala Harris writes trans TikTok star Dylan Mulvaney, "You continue to break barriers and inspire young people." Vice President Kamala Harris wrote a glowing letter to transgender TikToker star Dylan Mulvaney. This mentally ill freak shared the letter dated March 13th, 2023, in which Harris personally thanked him for his advocacy. So here's a part of this little letter. I wonder how long it took her to write this out. She starts like this. "Miss Mulvaney, thank you for courageously sharing your story and your journey. I appreciate your continued advocacy for transgendered equality, including during your visit to the White House last year. Through your work as an activist and advocate for the LGBTQI+ community," I'm surprised there isn't like a like just random cackling in the middle of this, "you continue to break barriers and inspire young people across our nation and around the world. Yay, hooray for mental illness. While we have made incredible progress from advancing marriage equality to enacting historic protections for transgender people, the fight is far from over. Our administration stands with the LGBTQOI+ community in the ongoing struggle for true equity and equality and against hate and discrimination in all forms." Again, taking a dude and just dominating females. Like, that's what I'm saying. This is in the White House. This is coming from the Vice President of the United States of America. Gosh, man, this is all the way at the top. It is just totally just removed from reality, absolutely void of morality. And the crazy part is, it's like the craziness gets normalized. That's at least what these people are trying to do. They try to normalize this mental instability to make it seem like it's some kind of just culturally acceptable thing. And anyone that takes an issue with it and is like, even if you're a little kid and you're like, yeah, no, mommy, girls are girls and boys are boys. It's that simple. And it's like, the little kid's a bigot. The little kid's a homophobe, a transphobe. It's this cultish behavior. You know what I'm saying? It's like this doctrine where if you disagree with anything, you see this on the right too, with a bunch of conservatives, right? Like, oh, how dare you speak out and say anything about these immoral, depraved individuals? Oh, how dare you? How dare you? It's like this cult mentality. It's like, so you're not allowed to have an opinion or say anything against anyone ever? So you're just going to have this cult mentality where if someone offends you or hurts your feelings, you're going to lose your mind and excommunicate them and make sure that everyone around them knows that you have been blacklisted and you should not be talked to anywhere whatsoever. It's crazy. You see this all over the place. It's a cult. It's a cult mentality. Be free from the cult. It's ridiculous. I mean, look at this. Look at Dylan Mulvaney cosplaying as a little girl, a 6-year-old little girl. This cannot be acceptable. Take a look.
I am Eloise. I am 6. I'm a city child. I live at the Plaza Hotel, which is huge and wonderful and très elegant, especially at Christmas time.
6-year-old little girl cosplaying all over TikTok, going after your children, because, obviously these people have a very unhealthy attraction and desire to not only target children, but to hijack their minds and isolate them in the so-called public education system, groom them, and then attack anyone that takes an issue with it and attempts to excommunicate them out of society if you say anything or you have any issue with any of this kind of stuff. Well, people that are unwilling to speak out against this and that are cowards, shut up and stop complaining about this stuff. I mean, these people are so serious about what they believe. That is why they're so aggressive and open with everything they say. Well, speaking of TikTok, this is China's greatest weapon, man. Big time. Especially when it comes to the next generation and all these kids that are on TikTok. TikTok pushes suicide videos on 13-year-olds. This is pretty disturbing. It only takes 10 minutes after creating an account on China's TikTok app. Breitbart, this is from Breitbart, from the platform's algorithm to begin pushing suicide videos to 13-year-old children. The Chinese app's recommendation algorithm is so advanced that within 10 minutes, parents, you need to pay attention to this. Within 10 minutes, it will start pushing suicide videos if the young TikTok user suggests he is sexually frustrated. You see how perverse and devilish this is? According to research published Tuesday by corporate accountability group Echo and shared with Vice News, the researchers found that after viewing just 10 videos having to do with incel-related topics, the TikTok account's For You pages, it's like your homepage if you're not familiar with TikTok, were all filled with similar content. One test account was shown a video that featured a clip of Jake Gyllenhaal, whose films have reportedly been popular among the incel community. I mean, yeah, he was in Brokeback Mountain. And in the video, the actor was seen with a rifle in his mouth saying, shoot me in the effing face." That might be from Jarhead or one of his military movies, but the point is that TikTok and its algorithm, okay, and by the way, the algorithm is designed by people that program it. They put human behaviors in it, search engines, all this type of stuff that they believe that they gather all of the data from what you're searching or looking at online, and they put it within your For You page. That's how they try and target what you want to see. But obviously what these people are doing is if you make the slightest little search when it comes to suicide or anything of this, they're just going to fill your child, okay? Maybe just like if your kid is unstable that needs professional help, because a lot of people do, especially when it comes to suicide and depression. These are very serious topics. TikTok is the last place anyone like that needs to be on right now. I'll tell you that right now. You want to know why? These people are not going to help. This is strategically being used to take an entire generation and convince them that it's okay and culturally acceptable and maybe even trendy to suicide and kill yourself. This is what the CCP does. Speaking of regimes, California, and my heart goes out. I grew up in SoCal. I'm a Southern California young man. That's my home state, and to see what's happened to it is absolutely sad. And my heart goes out to the state because it's such a tragedy to see, and not just California. I mean, all these states and cities, that are just in this commie utopia. Just absolute like third world state, right? Like that's what we're seeing across the board. It's like you go to Los Angeles or you go to Portland, it looks like Juarez, Mexico. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just so sad to see what these people are doing to this country. But here's some news out of Los Angeles. Massive strike cancels classes. for 400,000 kids in nation's second largest school district. Here are some details. Teachers, bus drivers, custodians, and cafeteria workers of the second largest school district in the nation went on strike today, canceling classes for about 400,000 students. Teachers in the district are demanding a 30% pay raise, more staff, and an end to unfair labor practices. More than 1,000 schools within the LA district will not have class for the next 3 days. You know, when I see this, I ask myself, on one end, our kids desperately need education. Our kids desperately need a good education, not some cheap education, because it just seems like every generation is just the IQs get lower and lower and lower, especially in the age of social media right now where it's so imperative. And then you got like the CCP in China, and their children are advancing at like 5 years old. They're getting into being able to code at such a young age before they're teenagers and build algorithms, and they could literally just get into quantum computing at young. It's insane what other countries are involved in. So the United States of America needs to be able to compete if we have any chance in the future. That's part of the reason why generations are getting dumbed down with particular social media apps like TikTok. But the other side of this, I say, is this a good thing? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, because are these really educators? You know what I'm saying? Like, how many of these people are like these woke so-called teachers, you know, that just want to indoctrinate kids and just shove this woke garbage down their mouths and not really teach them anything? It's not about math, not about science, not about history. It's not about social studies or any of the basics, anything like that. No. It's about everything woke, making sure everything's inclusive and tolerant, and you don't hurt anybody's feelings, and you make sure that the flag you should be concerned about is the pride flag, not the USA flag, because that's controversial and that's too offensive. But it's okay to have that pride flag, little kid. This is what they do K through 12. So I ask myself, and of course, in the school district, there are probably some good people that aren't, interested in any of that just simply want to teach. So it's a pretty interesting situation when you see stuff like this. I definitely think there needs to be a huge reformation in what's happening with education, especially K through 12. I mean, the universities, I don't even have to tell you guys. You know exactly what's going on. The commies have infiltrated and taken over everything. That's why I say we need a reformation. We absolutely need to get these people out, because these people are more concerned with indoctrinating them with critical race theory and all this hypersexual garbage that has no business in the mind or the eyes of a child. And to make matters worse, a lot of these so-called educators just turn around and say, well, they're my kids. They're my kids. Those people need to go. We need people that seriously do care about the education and the future of our children, not all this woke garbage. I mean, look at these people. Here's the LA Teacher Union boss. Here's some flashbacks, right? Cecilia Myrick Cruz calling to dismantle racist capitalism and to defund the police. This is who's a part of this district.
To do that, we have to dismantle white supremacy. We must dismantle racial capitalism. And definitely, we must defund the police and bring in the mental health services that our students need. Thank you.
Yeah, defund the police, communicate that to your children. That's why I say, I don't know, maybe this is a good thing that some of these people, don't have jobs. Let's find some better people. You know what I mean? Let's find some more level-minded people that aren't concerned with shoving all kinds of garbage down the minds of children and that just simply want to teach them, It's kind of easy. Shouldn't be that hard. It's not that, controversial of a thing, but it is when you tell these people, yeah, can you leave all that, hypersexualized, fake stirred, engineered racism and all this? Can you leave all that? No, we can't. We can't, because we must put that down the minds of your children. That's where we're at, you guys. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows that's where we're at. But shout out to all the teachers out there that just do their jobs and have no interest in indoctrinating children like this. We need more people like that. Well, to shift gears a little bit, speaking of defunding the police, take a look at this contrast. The FBI spent 16,000 more hours on January 6th and their investigation, then the entire summer of love, the BLM and Antifa riots, according to a new report. This is the Post-Millennial. New information from the Heritage Foundation's Oversight Project reveals a pretty big discrepancy in the amount of time the FBI spent investigating the January 6th riot compared to the Black Lives Matter and Antifa riots that ravaged multiple cities. I was there for all of it, for months in the wake of George Floyd's death. I covered all that stuff in 2020. FBI payroll records revealed that agents in Washington, D.C. field office worked more than 86,000 hours between January 4th and 17th, 2021. But between May 25th and June 7th, 2020, they worked just over 70,000 hours. You guys remember what the Summer of Love looked like?
This is mostly a protest.
That's like 5-story tall building right there. That's completely engulfed. Yes, now Wendy's is on fire, y'all.
More than 30 fires were set the previous night, destroying that 3rd police precinct and businesses.
Dousing the flames, trying to save the rest of these businesses from going up in smoke.
We went to KB Bala's restaurant. Looters had broken windows and even tried to steal his safe while he was there. Today, he watched as his life savings and dreams literally went up in smoke.
Minnesota's governor says the state has seen 48 hours of anarchy.
As night fell, the mood got angrier.
So we're now seeing spot fires and looting in a number of businesses being broken into. Everything is destroyed or vandalized, windows broken. They are forming a wall in front of the White House.
In the streets surrounding the White House with no sense of any attempt at de-escalation.
So according to the work hours for the FBI, it seems like they cared more about what happened at J6, which, in my opinion, was nowhere near what happened over summer 2020. I can assure you that, an individual that covered those riots pretty extensively. And I think that kind of tells you where their priorities are. Why? Because the deep state is 100% real, and they side with Antifa. They side with BLM. Why do you think the deep state villains and figures all say they're just a myth and they're just an idea, and you can't prosecute or mobilize investigations over myths and ideas? How convenient is that? I mean, this stuff just never stops. Look at Philadelphia. To pay $9.25 million to 343 so-called George Floyd protesters for physical and emotional injuries. Oh, are you okay? Oh my goodness. Most of the people who will benefit from the settlement were reportedly part of the protest that shut down a major interstate. Protesters say police used tear gas, pepper spray, and rubber bullets to clear them off the highway. Again, 343 people will split $9.25 million. Oh, and by the way, the settlement doesn't mention all the damage that was done to the city. 9 fires set, many locations looted, and the governor had to get the National Guard involved. Oh, but yeah, they need help. Oh, poor babies. Oh my gosh, we commit crimes. We looted, we vandalized, we commit arson. We took over a highway. Oh my gosh, we're so traumatized. We need money. Give us money. Give us money because racism. Give us reparations because racism. I mean, we're going to go out and we're going to protest and stick it to the man. We're going to go against the fascists and the killer white supremacist cops, but oh, we're traumatized because we had to. Give us millions. That is literally what Black Lives Matter is. I think we know that by now. That's facts. My name is Hernandez. These are the front lines. I'll see you guys tomorrow night.
We must play offense. Game on.
You expect the rest of the world to live in La La Land. We're not.
We've been saying these things from day one.
Our solemn vow to you: be good, be brief, be gone.
You might find yourself changing your opinion on things you've never even thought twice about. That really sets America apart.
You are not ready for season 2. This is Reloaded.
My life, tale, and my truth has been to fight socialism.
Are you familiar with structural racism?
Yeah, it's a myth.